Thank you, Gina. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Shepard. I'm a member of the New Settlement Parent Action Committee, and I am the Bronx Community Education Council member on the New York City Panel for Educational Policy. That was kind of long, but the point of it is I am the first, we talk about first, I am the first person in the history of New York City Public Schools to be elected to the New York City School Board by parents. And I am an avid reader. So I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. To start, I love reading because in 1976, when I was a little boy in the first grade learning to read, I remember having trouble pronouncing a word and asking my grandmother for help. And almost a half century later, I'll never forget her response. She said, "Son, I can't help you because I don't know how to read." And I remember looking at her like she had two heads. When I said, "Why not?" She said, "When I was a little girl, I could be hung from a tree until I was dead for knowing how to read." So, I learned how to read to make her proud. But guess what? The more I read, the more I loved reading. The more I read, the more I learned about the world that I lived in. And the more I learned about that world, the more I understood how I wasn't alone in it. So I'm gonna fast forward now to 1990, when I read my first books written by Black authors. Go Tell It on the Mountain in the Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. The Color Purple by Alice Walker. And Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. These books made being born in the Deep South and growing up in the Bronx real for me, and prepared me to move in this world as a Black man, proud, unapologetic, and unbroken. In the 35 years since I read those books, I've read in whole or in part thousands more. Books like I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, Beloved and The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, and The 1619 Project by Nicole Hannah Jones. As a father, I've read The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas with my daughters. And as a man of faith, I read from my collection of Bibles every day. But I've also read the Quran, and I've also read the Torah. And right now, I'm reading Stamp, Racism and Anti-Racism and You by Ibram X. Kendi, and the poems of Phyllis Wheatley. All of these books and hundreds more are in my personal library and on my bookshelves at home. And almost every book I have named is on a banned books list. Now I share that with you because for me, books represent the experiences and viewpoints of real people. They give us countless opportunities to share ideas, gain knowledge and understanding, and teach us about the good and not so good parts of the human experience. They teach us about history, both individually and collectively, and they ensure that our stories continue to live well after we're gone. To be clear, banning books is censorship, plain and simple. Having not read my first book by a Black author until I was 19, I understand that banning books allows for some people to control what you know and what you don't know. It for revisionist history by giving some people license to erase those for whom they fear or have no respect. It allows for some people to rob us of our individual and collective voice and then use that silence as justification for perpetuating inequitable and unjust societies. And given the world we live in today, if we are not careful, if we do not stand together and say in one voice that banning books is unacceptable and immoral, we will be doomed to repeat the ugliest parts of our history. And lastly, don't fall for the rebranding hype, right? When the book police say, no, we just challenging books. That is just a less stink way of saying banning books and censorship. Now, I can stand on this soapbox all day because I love reading so much, but I'm gonna wrap up my remarks with a challenge to all of you. Read. Read to learn. Go to your local New York Public Library, Brooklyn or Queens Public Library, or your favorite bookstore and explore interests, history, and experiences in a book. And then create spaces like the ones we have here to talk about those books and share ideas. And then write your own book. Tell your own story. Share your own truth. So with that, I just want to say thank you again for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with